tax concessions at all. The government looks too cash-strapped for that. But, one thing I wanted to ask you, Gautam, and I wanted to hear out the Tata Motors electric vehicles guy. We are seeing the first signs also of a commercial vehicle pickup when the October numbers came. Just listening to this gentleman, Shailesh Chandra, the president of passenger vehicles business at TAMO, and we're coming back to you.
It's been really overwhelming to see the response that we have in the festive season this year. In the Navratri, we saw a jump of more than 100% as far as bookings are concerned as compared to last year's Navratri. And similar kind of jump we saw in retail also, which was to the tune of 90%. And this continued throughout October, I would say, and Navratri was definitely the time when bookings as well as retails had peaked. So clearly shows that there is a great excitement among the consumers to buy cars in this festive season.
Right.
And the festive season is still not over. We have the next 14 days, which might also see first 2 days. We have seen the bookings coming at similar rate what we were seeing in the Navratri period last month. So seems to be, sustaining itself at least till the festival season.
How much did Tata Motors retail in the month of October?
The retail would be, 15% more as compared to the wholesale that we did. As you would have seen, industry was pretty much around the same number. So retail has been much better than the wholesale that we were able to do, and that has brought down our inventories further.
Okay, sorry, Gautam. I thought I could pick up the commercial vehicle bit, but we've cut the passenger vehicle chunk. I wanted to ask you, for TAMO and for generally commercial vehicles, it's a long drought, and now we seem to see a year-on-year growth. Separately for TAMO, China as well as firing, and we heard the Chinese premier speaking about doubling of the economy in about 10-15 years. Any of these are now value pickings for you?
I think they are, because I think TAMO has had a really rough last couple of years. And if you look at even the US market, whether it's a GM or Ford Motor Company, their third quarter numbers have actually been very, very good. So as a result, I think the auto sector in general is seeing definitely a global revival, not just in India. And that should definitely be positive for TAMO.
Okay, Gautam, we will leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. It looks like the market's gone through that initial bout of profit taking, and now once again you're beginning to see first sign of move, especially in the bank nifty once again. Now it will be interesting to see if now we can take out the morning high on the bank nifty. It slipped into a bit of a discount actually, the futures, and now trying to come back into a bit of a premium. So could be very interesting day, because the first bout of profit taking is over, and now the second bit of buying, which is visible.
You were not sure of it? That is why you were not green on green?
Yeah, that's why it was not
green. You thought maybe the dip won't be bought.
Green on green is on days when, the cues are bad. Okay. Not on days when, the SGX is opening 150 points higher. On days when SGX is actually opening 100 points lower.
So contra psychology at play when Anuj is in green on green. Okay, for now, what we'll do is we'll focus on a couple of important corporate results that came out yesterday. Now, if you look at Thermax's numbers, the sequential recovery is quite visible. The question is, how robust is it going to be? Is it going to get better? And what happens from here on? Ashish Bhandari, MD and CEO of Thermax, is joining in. Thanks very much, Ashish. Good morning and season's greetings to you. So, that's what we can see from the numbers. Of course, year on year, everything is still down. But in terms of expectations, you've done better than the street. So tell us, is ordering picking up? What do you see in the immediate future?
Hi, good morning, Lata, Anuj and Surbhi. It's a pleasure to be here. And my season's greetings to you and all your viewers as well. See, Q1, which was just a matter of focusing on the basics, focusing on health and safety of our employees, focusing on cash, we got that out of the way. Q2, we started to talk about growth again, starting to get back into profitability. And I would say both of those things were delivered. Yeah, our base business, which is standard products, standard services, getting our plants up and running, most of this is now above 90% of our standard run rate. which means all our factories are full from an operating capability perspective. All our sites are operational again. Most of our channel partners are starting to see activity, and we expect that to hold at least in the near visibility that we have into Q3 as well. On the project side, decision making slowed down, and as was expected, as people started to get back to the offices, some of that went out for a bit longer. But even on the project side, you would see in the last couple of days, we announced one big project. The future holds a fair bit of activity. So we are optimistic, but in a wait and watch mode, focusing very much on cost, focusing very much on fundamentals.
What is the order looking like? I believe year on year it is only about 35% of what you had. If you can, crystal gaze, how many orders are out there in the market? Second half, how much can the order book grow? And how much can you supply? When we last spoke to you, you were at 70% capacity utilization.
So I think that capacity utilization is now above 90%, and you will see our backlog, which is more than 5,000 crores. Now we are ready to start working that backlog down, because it wasn't just a function of our capacity being available. It was also the function of whether our customers were willing to pick up the material, whether the project sites were all in a place that execution could happen. There we have fair bit of visibility. So you would see our backlog overall start to come closer to our run rate in Q3 and Q4. Of course, COVID and other mega events, if something happens, that we cannot foresee. But so far, that trend will continue. So I think there you will see positive momentum for sure. In terms of orders, I would say the base orders, at least currently and for the remaining of this quarter, there is some decent visibility. On the big projects, I would still wait to see how customers make decisions, because there's some uncertainty. For example, FGD orders, which gave us almost 1,000 crores worth of orders last year. There is an element of government policy. There's an element of China imports. There's an element of how much will get passed through or not. So I would wait. The projects are there. There's discussions going on. Whether things start to happen or not, I would still wait a little bit. We are seeing fair bit of our customers starting to move on sustainability projects, which have 2 to 3 year paybacks. So waste heat recovery projects and plants. We saw the biocoal project, which is in Assam, which is a big breakthrough, a first of its kind for the country. So we are seeing movements on sustainability-based projects. Some of the larger initiatives that were more FGD and other projects could continue to see a bit of slowdown in the near future, but that is policy-driven as well.
Ashish, good morning. So any cancellations in orders that you've seen, or anything that's stalled, or you think there's no such negative news for now?
Anuj, we were worried about that in April and May. So we actually slowed down in Q2 in some cases where we thought there could be issues. And in fact, we focused on cash, and you will see that in our cash numbers where we look to make sure that the customers were really interested in executing and moving projects forward. I can say now that with some amount of confidence that an overwhelming majority of all of our customers are going ahead with their projects, and there is actually no major cancellation to talk about and worth reporting. So that's a positive that I can see.
Ashish, it's interesting, the trend you spoke about, sustainability and those kind of orders, maybe it ties in with the fact that ESG is becoming a bit of a buzzword even here in India. But tell us, your order book as of date, I believe, is around 5,200 crores. Over how many quarters does that cover you? And which are the sectors where at least there's some visibility, some movement in terms of fresh bookings?
I think in particular in Q2, we saw strength in food, pharma, chemicals. But as we go forward, we are seeing strength in other sectors also. Yes, cement in particular with waste heat recovery has been a good application where we are seeing a fair bit of activity across multiple customers. Inquiries from steel are also starting to pick up, which is driven by strength in the steel sector where Q2 numbers started to pick up. So I do get a sense that capacity utilization across many of our primary customers are starting to build. On the oil and gas side, there were some really big projects which were sitting on the sidelines. Discussions have started. I would say I would wait and watch on what the pricing looks like, because we don't have a good sense on how competitive some of these projects will get. I can say across all places, we are not like roaring above last year's numbers, but we see stability in activity across sectors right now, at least at the levels of last year.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bhandari, we'll leave it at that. Pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much. Have a great festival season yourself and everyone at Thermax. Well, it's good going still for the markets. As Anuj pointed out, the first dip has been bought, and in particular, the Nifty Bank continues to fly high with almost a 400% gain, 1.5. And one guy, of course, is the cynosure of the market today, and that's SBI, still up about 6%, so maintaining most of the early morning gain. Second only to SBI among the big stocks is HPCL. That stock also doing extremely well after the announcement of results and buyback. We are going to take a break and speak to the HPCL management. MK Sunana.